afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, I know we got a room full of strong people. Strong people have energy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That's what I'm talking about. Let us take a moment in prayer. Father in heaven, we come before your presence. We give you praise and glory. We thank you for your divine grace and your divine love. We thank you for the collective and its efforts to bring our communities together to increase a positive lifestyle within particularly the San Fernando Valley. We thank you for the captains that are here today. We thank you that they've given up their time. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you continue to bless them in safety, bless them in their leadership. We pray that at this time, during this time of conversation, that our minds would be open and our hearts would be pure. We lift you up in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Let's join in.
You have a flag in the back.
Pledge. Pledge.
No, you're doing the Star Spangled Banner, right?
Let's say the pledge. Everybody begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. God bless America, y'all.
Thank you, Phil.
National Anthem is a hard act to follow. Okay, now I have scratched off and readjusted and everything. So, my name is Carolyn McConnell, and it is my pleasure to introduce and to welcome the captains of the Foothill Division. And Captain Hurtado, congratulations.
Thank you.
On your new post.
Thank you very much.
And Captain Grimes, he's an early bird. And you can read Captain Grimes' biography. But before we begin the question and answer session, we're going to ask each of you to briefly share a little about yourselves, okay? And captains, on behalf of the African Valley Collective and the Lakeview Terrace Homeowners Association and the Foothill Trails Council and the community at large, we want to thank both of you for coming to our meeting today, and your presence here means that you really care about opening up dialogue with the community and listening to what we have to say and building better relationships. And before I take my seat, I'd like to read a quote from Dr. King. And he states, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Let us all work together to be the light that drives out darkness. If we work together, we can continue to make great strides to a better future." So I know that we will all be the light, and we again welcome you here. I present to you Captain Grimes and Captain Hall.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having us. I really didn't know how big this group would be. I love the fact that this, frankly, that it's a small group. So hopefully we can be a nice, friendly, intimate group. And as you guys ask questions, we will ask a few questions to know what's going on with the community. You have my bio. I didn't know you'd have it, so I guess my thunder has been taken. I have one correction before I go into about me. We have a new deputy chief in the valley. You guys have listed here Chris Pitcher, and he was our deputy chief for about a year. And then in the summer, late summer months, we got a new deputy chief, someone who's been here before at the Field Division and at Topanga Division, and I believe at the Valley as a commander, I think. And his name is Jorge Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So he was here before, right? And you guys knew him. He's the captain of Twitter, yeah. So that's just one change on here. And of course, Captain Wendling, who you have on your agenda as well, he promoted to Captain 2, and he went to West Traffic Division, which is housed at Wilshire Station, Venice, and La Jolla. So he's doing very well. So, about me. Well, this has a lot about me. So don't read it. Let's see if I can remember. I came from a very small town. That's one of the things this thing mentions. It says 700. I overestimated that when I said it. Right now, I believe the sign outside the town says 635. It goes up and down with those huge numbers. And there's a little town named Etna, which is in Northern California. And if you can imagine a town that small, has anyone ever lived in a town that small? You have? Where'd you live?
In the south.
In the south? In a small town?
With my whole family.
Yeah.
Your family was the family?
Made up the town.
One of the neat things about a small town, and it can be one of the problematic things of a small town, is everyone knows everybody. If you're driving down the street, you drive down the street in Los Angeles, Pacoima, Lakeview, Terrace, wherever we're driving, you probably don't recognize very many people, and you probably don't wave at everybody. In Etna, if you drive down the street and you don't wave, you hear about it the next day. Whatever your next meeting is, they say, "Hey, you drove by Sam the other day and you didn't wave at it. What's going on with you? What's your problem?" Sorry. So, a very friendly town, and that's a great way to grow up. I was an athlete in high school, like a lot of police officers were. I did not play college ball, but various sports in high school. I had a good time with that. But then I had to go to school. And in Etna, there's no schools, no colleges. So I decided to go to a little school down in Westwood, about 11 miles as the crow flies from a little school in South Los Angeles. Right on. So I went to Westwood, and I stayed there for 4 years, and I studied kinesiology, which is the study of movement. It's a physical education type of stuff, exercise physiology. And I enjoyed that, and I didn't know exactly what I'd do with it, but I got into cardiac rehabilitation, and I worked as an exercise physiologist at a hospital right near here, Verdugo Hills Hospital. And it became very boring very quick. All that education, and then it became very boring very quick. I thought it would be exciting. I thought it was saving lives every day. And well, it just was very boring and continued that way. So I said, okay, what can I do where I can serve people, where I can help people, where I can feel like I did something good every day, made a difference in someone's life, that I'm not in the basement of a hospital, so at least a window in my office wherever I work, where I could sometimes be outside. And I immediately thought of police work, because my dad had been a police officer. As a little kid, I think a lot of little boys want to do what their dad did. And he only did it for 10 years, but as a little kid I wanted to be a police officer because dad was a police officer. Well, I didn't really realize that really stuck in my heart, and I really did want to do it until after college and after working in cardiac rehab for a couple of years. So I applied for the Los Angeles Police Department. And that's my history. I got married in 1989. I won't go into my whole history with the department. I guess I'll briefly do that. But I got married in 89, still married to my lovely bride, Denise. Some of you may have met her. She comes with me to some events. You probably met her or saw her at the Columbia Christmas parade. See, who was at that parade? Okay, you might have seen my wife. We were in the car together, and we got to drive. She loves me. We prayed waving. So, she's a housewife, homemaker. She does not have a job, hasn't for the last 26 years outside the home. But as you all know, she works harder than all of us, right? Yeah, she has a hard job. It's the best job. We have 3 daughters. One's 26. She's married and has 2 babies, so I am a grandpa. And that is very fun. I enjoy that a lot. And I have a 23-year-old who's in Loma Linda getting her PhD. And then I have a 15-year-old, so we still have a young one at home. And just last night, the 23-year-old came home with me. So I'm missing her right now, but that's okay. I'm here with you. I'll see her later today. We'll have dinner together.
We'll get you out soon.
Yeah, we'll have dinner. But that's essentially what I'm about. I'm a family guy. I love the family. I'm a church-going guy. I'm not supposed to say that too much while I'm in uniform, but I do go to church. And if you want to know personally about that, I'd love to talk to you personally about that, but we'll have to do it when I'm technically off duty. I don't think captains are ever technically off duty. So now let's fast forward about 20 years, 25 years. I ended up at Foothill as a captain in August of 2018. So I've been there about a year and a half now as the commanding officer of Foothill. And I've met many people, but and I've met some of you in this room, but I haven't met all of you. I guess I haven't met you, sir, in the back, but today I'll meet you. And I think we've met. So I really love being a police officer. I love being a captain, and Foothill's a great community. And we have a lot of good things to say about Foothill, but it's only going to get better. We have a new thing that's going to be happening. It's going to affect all of you if you live in the general area. There's a thing called Community Safety Partnership, which is starting next month. Has anyone heard of CSP or Community Safety Partnership? Okay. There's 9 of them now in the city. There's 8 of them before Foothill. And ours is going to be centered at San Fernando Gardens, which is in Fuquema. And we've got 10 extra officers and a sergeant, and they're all upgraded positions. And they're going to be truly involved in the type of policing that has shown so much efficacy and so much benefit over the last 10 years. And basically, relational policing, where their first thought is, let's put handcuffs on this character, this person, this kid, his dad, his mom, whoever. Their first thought is, how can we build a relationship with this person, with this family, with this community, so that they will feel safer, and that we as a police department are partners with them, and they as a community, we really work together. And that's really the way of the future for the Los Angeles Police Department, but we're starting basically small with different housing developments, in this particular case, San Fernando Gardens. And so that's going to be a great thing. It's going to affect you guys. I don't think anyone here lives in San Fernando Gardens, do you? Okay. But those 10 officers plus supervisors who are right there, they're going to have so much impact on crime in that area that history tells us that a lot of the people who are causing problems, so people who are committing crimes, if they don't want to stop committing crimes, a lot of them pick up and they leave. They go somewhere else. Some of them buy in and they say, oh, I guess I don't need to commit this many crimes or any crimes, and they become a better community member. So that's what we're shooting for, is crime will go down, and specifically in that area, I've talked to people, and maybe it's in your neighborhoods too, you can tell me. In that area, we've both walked around it and talked to people, but there's not very many people to talk to if you don't knock on the door, because everyone's afraid to come out of their apartments. And there's been a history of violence, so it's understandable. But the goal is that people would feel so safe that they could have their kids play out there, potentially without even parental supervision. Kids safe playing in the playground. Barbecues happen, at least on the weekends, right? Where families would be comfortable to go out there and have time with each other. Families don't necessarily know each other because they're afraid to even go out and meet each other. So, I sense that a lot of good things are going to happen over the next year. We may actually see crime reporting go up a little bit because people trust us more and they say, okay, I got victimized, I better actually report it. I wouldn't have reported in the past, but now I'm going to report it. But then I believe that after it goes up, after a time, whatever that is, whether it be 6 months or a year, crime will go down again because the community will, this partnership really will take an effect between the community and police. So that's the biggest thing that's happening in Foothill right now. I won't take any more time with that, but I'll give it to my partner and he can give a little bit of history of himself. And his is all brand new because it's not on here. He can make up anything he wants. He can say anything. But I really do want, before I give it to him, I'm thankful that you guys are here and I'm thankful that I'm here with you and that my partner's here with you so we can start something fresh and start something new. Really get you guys involved with the police department if you want to be, and certainly get us involved in your community if you want us there, and most of us know what that means. We all want it to happen. We want the partnerships to, the relationships to really improve so that everyone feels safe. All right?
Well, first of all, Captain Grimes keeps saying that he's, we're a partnership, and we are, but the truth is he's my boss. But I appreciate
He's my partner.
I appreciate the humbleness, but thank you. I'm very excited to be here. This is something new to me. This is the first time I've worked in the Valley. I pretty much worked the south end of Los Angeles for the past 21 years. So I'll go to my last current assignment. I was a gang lieutenant in charge of the gang impact team at 77th. I was there for about a year and a half. And last year, I'm proud to say that we had 336 guns that we recovered off the streets of Los Angeles, with only 6 use of force incidents.
Did you hear that? How many guns?
336 guns.
And only 6 uses of force.
And we're talking about tackling people. We had really, really good outcome. And I'm very excited about that. And the murder rate actually did go down. So the impact that those officers had, those 31 officers in that unit, it was just outstanding. That's not counting the narcotics. We shut down 88 illegal marijuana locations. And the detectives also did a great job. I was in charge of 49 hard-working men and women that just loved the city and just loved to go out there and work and did a professional job. No one got in trouble either. It was a great time. And that's part of the job sometimes, sometimes things happen, good and bad, but I'm very excited about that either. And I want to bring that over here with my leadership style and my experiences. Prior to that, I worked at Newton. I was also a gang lieutenant, there for a little bit, also the detective CO at Newton. I was there for about a year and a half as a lieutenant. Prior to that, I was a Sergeant 2 as a watch commander there at Newton also. So I was a watch commander there. Before I was a watch commander, I was a field sergeant over in 77. So I kind of bouncing back and forth the last 6 years as a supervisor. As an officer, most of my time was spent in Metropolitan Division. I worked 8 years in Metropolitan Division, 7 years was with SWAT. So weapons and tactics, and where I was an expert in crisis negotiation, and also explosives expert. So those were my 2 main jobs, aside from being obviously an operator in SWAT. Prior to that, I was a senior lead officer at Wilshire Division. I was at Wilshire for about 5 years, so worked gangs. So pretty much I worked gangs and as a senior lead officer in Wilshire. Prior to that, I did my probation in Rampart. I was a patrol officer. Before I came on the job, I was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years, and I was a combat engineer working in Special Operations Group in the Marine Newport. And before that, I grew up in Almani. And pretty much my teenage years and as a young man. And I went to high school in Almani, which was in Lakeview. I had a great time there. Before that, we lived in MacArthur Park area. We lived in MacArthur Park for a while, and I still remember going down with my mom and dad to feed the ducks. Just throw popcorn at them and watch them eat it. So, but I'm on my education. I'm in my last class for my master's degree in executive master's in leadership at USC. So I'll be done in late April, graduating in Milwaukee in May. Prior to that, I got my bachelor's at the Union University and Institute in criminal management. So that's pretty much it. I'm divorced, so I don't have a family, a big family like Dave does.
We'll be your family.
Okay. Which means I have a lot of time to dedicate to our community here, and I do plan on dedicating a lot of community. I've worked with CSPs, both at 77, which is that new program we're going to have here in San Fernando Gardens, and I've worked, and I've seen them work, and it spreads just like cleaning people clean their houses and their neighborhoods and paint and make everything beautiful spreads, and that's what the CSP is going to do. I've seen it happen at Southeast when I worked with crime suppression there. I've seen it happen at 77th. I've seen it happen at Newton. I've seen it happen in Imperial Courts and Jordan Downs. I've seen it happen in the Pueblos and these really hard areas that people really couldn't get to. You know, I remember the days where if you got a radio call in Imperial Courts or something Jordan Downs where you had to wait for another vehicle, you had to go in 3D, which we call it. That means 3 cars have to go together. But now you can just walk through and people will say hi to you and come out, and that's because it's a different style of policing and really getting to know people, you know, from the heart, not so much just the enforcement route. We're given a lot of leeway what we do and how we do it inside these different places where we're gonna, like we're talking about the CSPs, where we're given a lot more leniency, and it's not all about jail. It's all about, you know, education and having a malleable relationship with the law enforcement and our communities. You know, bringing the problems to the parents and the community rather than just putting them in jail or hey, we caught your kid was over here vandalizing this, and we bring him to the church. We bring him to the community and to the Boys and Girls Club, and we've solved the problem together and not introducing them to probation and parole, which pretty much 70% of the children that are introduced, and half of my studies was criminology and victimology, and I realized that 70% of the children that are introduced into the probation system will fail, and will fail because the system is made just so difficult, and these children will fail because they don't have bus fare, so they get a check-in, so now they've got a warrant on them, and really is it their fault? Just different introductions into law. That's good and bad, and we still have to kink. We all have kinks, but thank God that we have a community that's willing to work with us, and just we'll figure this out together. You know, people say, oh, they're police officers, you don't understand. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles also. I used to live at 35th and Main when my parents were very young, very poor. Then we moved up to Rampart area, which is about the same. So I've seen both sides of it, you know, and God bless me with this job. You know, I always say that I haven't worked a day yet because I've had so much fun. There's been some sad moments that I've seen in this job, but it's been great and it's been a big blessing. So I'm very excited to be here, and thank you for just such a warm welcome, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. So folks are going to have questions. I have some cards and some pins here. All right, so we have some questions already, so we'll start with those. And one of you can address it, and then we'll move on to the next question. I know that you guys have to get out of here in about 40 minutes, and so we want to use your time wisely. Okay, can you give an update on how LAPD is addressing the issue of identifying citizens as gang members who are not, and how the Foothill responded to ensure that this is not happening here?
Yeah, probably referring to the news articles that have come out. And so, first of all, let me just say, there's been an investigation that has been begun, and it's deep into that investigation, and some people may have not been categorizing people properly, and they may be saying they're gang members, or maybe they're not, they're proof wasn't. But that's the concern, that's the investigation, and we'll wait for that to end before we can really speak on whether those things happen. Now, with regard to our folks, we train them, and I can even have Herman talk about it because he's a lieutenant, but we train our people when they are talking to somebody, whether it be because of probable cause or reasonable suspicion, to legal terms that allow us to talk to people and detain them, or if it's considered what we call a consensual encounter, which just means we're just talking. Like if I walked up to any of you on the street and I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Captain Grimes. You want to talk? Or can I talk to you?" That's not a detention. That's just a talk, right? That's called a consensual encounter. We could talk, and I can ask you your name, and you can ask me mine. And whatever we talk about, we talk about. And sometimes it gets into questions about police work and gangs, but it can still just be a consensual encounter. And we vigorously train our people to know what the differences are between probable cause, which basically means you have enough facts already in possession that you can arrest that person for a particular crime. Reasonable suspicion means I believe this person, because of the things that I know, I believe this person may be involved in crime, or was involved in crime, or will be involved in crime, so I can detain that person for that. And these are tough things sometimes to figure out. So we continue to train our officers to do it right. And we don't want our gang officers or any of our officers to categorize anybody as a gang member who's not. So we really have to verify really with the specific data and make sure it's accurate. Now, the good thing is, all our officers have cameras on their uniforms now. So we know exactly what happened during that encounter, whether it be probable cause encounter or reasonable suspicion or consensual encounter. We can hear the whole thing. And if they fill out a card, or what we call a field information card, FI card, field investigation card, what are those things called? Field investigation. Jeez. Fill out the card. All that information can be confirmed because we can watch the video. We know exactly what the person said. If the person said, "I'm from New York City," it should go right on there. I'm from New York City. Whatever his address is, or her address is, or date of birth, whatever we put on that card, all that information is confirmed because we have the video. So that's a good thing. That's one of the ways the department is actually investigating this big complaint that you referred to from the newspaper. And we're doing the same thing. We review those videos and put them and make sure that our officers are doing it right. And if we find someone who's not doing it right, we make sure to do it right. And but if we need to initiate an investigation, a complaint investigation, we'll do that. Because thus far we haven't had it with them officers. But we never know what could happen, and we'll just make sure they get trained right. Does that answer your question? Whoever had that?
Yes.
You're good?
So we'll have one more.
Add on to
Go
that?
ahead.
Can I add on to that question? So I want to get back to the why first, and some of the things that happened. I was very close to this investigation. Some of the officers that worked 77, that's kind of like the stepping stone to go to Metropolitan Division. A lot of these things did happen at 77. So here's what happens sometimes. Who has seen a gangster or knows a gangster in here that was at one point in their life? Just honestly, if you could raise your hand. If you've seen them, never seen a gangster?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You live the sheltered life.
Okay, you gotta leave the park sometime. Okay, so we have an officer that's very well versed in their gang that they're specialized in, and they know. I'm just gonna call him for Pete's sake, just Pookie. Okay? They know him, Pookie. They know Pookie. They've always known Pookie. They know Pookie's cousin. They know who he hangs out with. They know Pookie's. He's been put into the crew, right? So days later, days come, they haven't seen him. They see him a month later, and they say, "Hey, come here. How you doing?" They fill out an Infield interview card, and they put self-admitted on the card. Okay, so then they put him into the system. Now you have to give him a letter saying, "We're going to introduce you into the county gang system. We're going to put you into the system as a gang member because you've admitted you were a gang member." Pookie's mom gets mad. She makes a complaint. My son never admitted he was a gang member. They go back to the date of the interview. Guess what? It's not on there. But he already knows him from a month ago, from 2 months ago, from 3 months ago, and he's committed these crimes. So it's self-admittance. So the officers kind of put he's self-admitted, but they've known him for such a long time, and he's a gang member.
So previously self-admitted.
Exactly. That's in some cases. So the officers are now being investigated, and they're clearing this up because the Los Angeles Police Department has always just thorough investigations to get to the bottom of something. So maybe that's a training issue where he should have put. He admitted to me 2 months ago when I saw him hanging around with the guys, which now we're talking about semantics. Really, is he a gang member? Yeah, we've seen him. Did he admit to you that day? No, but you put it on the card. Yeah, but what I meant was he admitted to me 2 months ago. Is there some officers that just put it down there? I don't know. I heard there is, and those people will be disciplined properly if they did. Okay. What are we doing about it? Is now if we have a person that we're putting in fresh into the CalGang system, we're gonna read the card, they're gonna bring it to a supervisor. Supervisor's gonna look at their body worn video and verify that he did admit or didn't admit into the card. That's our new process. That process is gonna eliminate. If for some reason we go, no, you know what, he admitted to me 3 months ago, but I hadn't seen him since, so I didn't get a full fine, but here it is, then we're gonna document it in that way. And the supervisor also checks it off and signs it that he did admit it, so that's gonna alleviate that problem. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool. Okay, so that's what it was, and hopefully all of them were just schematics, and I've filled out cards where I know Johnny, and he's been a gang member for so long. I used to work 18th Street in MS, and even though they didn't admit to me that day, I know they are because they have a big MS on their forehead. That's a clue. That's a clue. But did he admit to me? No, he didn't, right? But he had those type of tattoos. So hopefully that's just a misunderstanding, and the information that we're getting. You see the way I explained it to you. That's not how it says it on the newspaper, right?
No.
Okay. Yes, just understand that, the LAPD does its best to do the most thorough investigations, and half the times it's just misinformation, miscommunication, misinterpretation or something. So thank you.
Great. I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to do some of your questions.
Very good.
Did you have a follow-up to his or?
Yes, it was about the CalGang
Gang. Okay.
system. What is that CalGang system? What is that for? And
Yeah, okay, so back in 1968, the federal government said that we could do an information sharing system, which allows, I forgot the code, but I do know it because I wrote a paper on it. And it's on CalGangs, and it's a California gang information system. It's an information sharing only. It's not used for corporate purposes, it's not used to put it into your DMV, it's not put it into your medical, it's nothing. It's for another police officer to look at somebody and share information that somebody has been identified as a gang member. It's morely for our protection, it's for safety. I forgot it's called, it's like Law Enforcement and Community Safety Act or something similar. So when there's somebody new that moves into somebody's neighborhood and they do have a police encounter, that when we run him, it just says FYI, this person is a known 18th Street, gang member. He's in the Nazi, KKK, or it could be many different terrorist organizations, or that's in the system. And that's what it's for. We call it CalGangs here, but it's actually used pretty much in a lot of the different states where we share gang members, right? Nevada, Arizona, and California. So does that answer your question, sir? Absolutely.
Let's have
information
please,
only.
And I'll ask this to Kevin Hurtado. If someone is classified as a gang member, because he admitted, or there's various classes,
There's various criteria. You have to meet 2 of the 5.
So he meets 2 of the 5 criteria, and he's been a gang member for 5 years. He's in the system. At what point does he drop out of that system?
Yes, absolutely, that's a great question. First, let me back up, to be put into the system, you have to meet 2 of 5 criteria, and I hope I don't butcher this.
We don't want to spend too much time on the gangs.
Okay. 5 years of inactivity, you behave for 5 years, and no police officer has encountered you in gang activity. You could get ticket, you could get arrested for DUI, things like that. But you have not had 5 years of gang activity, you automatically, the system drops you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. Okay, here's the easy one. Okay, we're gonna follow up.
Sorry. I can answer these questions for 20
Oh,
pages.
absolutely.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
But I'll stay after if you have further questions. Yeah.
So you have a police advisory board, and we'd like to know, how can folks be a part of it, and when do they meet and where?
Yes, we have we call it a community police advisory board. I think on your email that you sent me, there were 2 paragraphs. One was about the police advisory board, one was the community police advisory. Same thing for us. We meet on, is it the first Thursday of each month, calendar month? And we meet at the,
Japanese.
yeah, Japanese,
Japanese Cultural Center.
Japanese called Brantford.
Brantford.
So it's right by the 5 freeway in Brantford and Laurel County. And we've got generally around 20 to 30 people who come, community members. One of the good things or neat things for you, if you do come, and you're all welcome to come. You're all invited. If you want to be, once you've gone a few times, if you decide, I'd like to become a member, you can become a member. And we actually there's an application process, which is basic stuff. We make sure you're not a terrorist or a criminal.
You can't be in Cal gangs.
Can't be. But here's the interesting thing. Let's say you are in Cal gangs, you want to attend, you can attend. I actually have a person who I know has been involved in significant crimes over the years, and he comes, and he's fine. He can't become a member. He can't actually become a volunteer with the department because there's a background process. But anyone in here, I'm sure you would all qualify. But you go through the procedure. We take your fingerprints at some point, run them down there, make sure you're not Osama bin Laden's brother. And then you can become a member of CPAP. And CPAP is a location where you can give information to the police, kind of like what this might be in a few minutes if you ask us questions. Where we give information out, and we also become involved in different, I'll call them operations, like cleanup operations. Let's say we want to have a cleanup operation in Sun Valley, so we'll get a group of people from CPAP, we'll get a bunch of our cadets, some police officers, we'll go down there and we'll clean up a particular street. Or maybe there's another issue, a graffiti issue, or some other, maybe there's a speed bump issue and CPAP wants to get together, work for a speed bump in this particular street, in this area, so they'll work to write a recommendation or request to the council district through CPAP, and the council district will help get a speed bump over time. So whatever your concerns are that the police can help you with, CPAP can become involved.
Great. One quick one on that one. Is there a booster program? Someone said there used to be. Is there still one?
There is. We actually have a member of the boosters in this room right now.
Okay.
It's called the Foothill Area Boosters Association. We used to call it FABA.
Okay.
And Vicky right here is actually a member of FABA.
Okay. Somebody wants to be a booster, see Vicky.
Yeah, you can see Vicky, or maybe you want to give a different number, but
And
is it okay if they see you?
Yes, they certainly can see me.
Yeah.
We support the police department. We fundraise. We have a golf tournament every year. We fundraise. We also have a carnival that we're starting every year. We fundraise and we provide LAPD with equipment that they need to do their job that the department can't pay for. So they request of the captain, and as long as it's not too outlandish, we agree to do that for him.
So see Vicky if you want to be a booster.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 community questions, so we'll get to those. We want to make sure we get as much questions as we can. So, are there any plans to reinstate the program that included LAPD officers in LAUSD? So officers, LAPD in the schools.
Good question.
As teachers.
Teachers?
I don't know if
Is that the question? As teachers?
as teachers.
I would say no.
The DARE program?
No.
Oh no.
I don't think there's nothing I know of where there's
It's
not a program where
ineffective, yeah.
LAPD people would become teachers. We do have now Los Angeles Unified School District Police Department, and they're an actual police department. They're the ones that have primary responsibility for policing, enforcing, investigating crimes that occur on campus of all LA Unified School District schools. So, to answer the question, there's no current plan for us to take that over. However, if there's a serious crime that happens on campus, many times we will take that crime over because it's a very big, serious crime. Yes, ma'am.
So, my question, when I was a senior at San Fernando High School, we had 2 officers coming into our contemporary American problems in the first half or the second half of the semester. And it was at a time when we had our annual spring difficulty, shall we say. And so it was an opportunity for relationship building again, so taking like all cops are bad attitude because we see, you know, the banging of heads,
Yeah.
to, oh, these are real people, and we can really relate to them, so it's part of the relationship thing, and that's why
Right.
I thought, you know, it's a good age group to
Oh, yeah.
start, you know, developing the relationships and
Yeah.
positive, community stuff.
And that's great, they did that in the, earlier in our lives, I won't say exactly when you graduated.
Everyone's so past.
There is a LAUSD PD, so they have primary investigative responsibility on the campuses, but we're there all the time. Our senior lead officers specifically, they go to the schools and they say, hey, we'd like to have a community forum with your parents. The latest one we did was called The Truth About Gangs. It was a gang class that our senior lead officers and our gang detective did on campus for teachers. And we can hold those same types of classes for, you know, for the students. Students know what gangs are more than the parents, so it's really mostly for the parents. We do a class about domestic violence. We do a class
Last week.
yeah, last week we had one. We do it about gangs, we do it about drugs, we do it about vaping, which is a huge issue right now for the schools as kids.
Usually the schools will reach out to us and they say, hey, can you talk to our, you know, we're gonna have some sort of assembly, can you speak to our third graders? And we'll send somebody there, so if you guys ever need that, and we'll send, if you want something done, the last one was on gangs, it was a Thursday?
Yeah.
And we send again one of our gang detectives out there to talk to them about how to identify and how to stay away. It's just more of an informative thing for the kids and for the parents. We actually, real quick, those are very good, especially for the parents. We had in South LA, we had a forum on how to identify gangs, and we have the 60s over there, right? And they use the St. Louis, the S, and one of the parents just looked at her son and he's like, all of a sudden he's a St. Louis, you know, and or no, that's Seattle or football team. I'm not into sports, but it was an S. But she zeroed in on him, and sure enough, he's wearing it, going, oh God. So it's really good, and anytime that you need our support for that, please let us know.
And I've actually gone to, there's this little school over here next to San Fernando Gardens called the Oklahoma Charter, and I've gone there and spoken to all the parents too. They love to have the opportunity to speak to us, and I love speaking to them. So if you want that, we'll absolutely go. So the answer is no, we're not going to take over policing of the schools, but we're always there.
Or
It
teaching.
wasn't about,
Or
it
teaching.
wasn't
Or teaching.
about policing,
No
it was about
teaching.
teaching,
Yeah.
teaching the class.
Yeah, and there used to be a program called DARE, drug resistance.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
I think
Yeah.
this was.
Ineffective. What is the status of the Pierce Apartments gang and drug problem?
Okay, well, the Pierce Apartments, I assume you're talking about whoever answered that.
Van Nuys Pierce Park.
Van Nuys Pierce, yeah. So obviously there's a gang problem up there, and various gang members are out there, Pierce Boys, I think is the name. Right now, there doesn't appear to be a war going on. They're not shooting each other all the time. I'll give you an example. Our total crime last year went down 7% from the previous year. Now, that just doesn't say everything in one number, but it does show the crime is down. And they're not particularly active. And we have other gangs that, we actually don't have a whole lot of active gangs right now, which is a good thing. Not to say they're not there, and actually yesterday we had an incident which might be gang related, we're not sure, but the driver who shot a person, the victim happened to be a gang member. It was like a road rage thing that turned into a shooting. The driver who shot was wearing some clothing that would lead us to believe that maybe he's a gang member. But we're not even sure. But that wasn't Pierce. So, not a lot of activity right now with Pierce Street. And we're there all the time. We're in San Fernando Gardens and we're up there in Pierce. When I was a young copper on the field, we called it the Pierce Projects. Is it still called that?
Van Nuys Pierce
Yeah, Van Nuys.
Park.
Yeah.
It's probably-
Yeah. So, not a whole lot of crime happening there. And maybe they're just quiet. You know, sometimes gang members quiet down because they don't want us to bug them so much, so they do their business behind the scenes so we don't get involved. I don't know exactly what's going on with them, but
Okay, we're going to get you a card so we can get your question in. So there seems to be a high turnover rate in the Foothill Division, and if you can explain maybe the rationale around that and anything to keep the officers here, including senior leads.
yeah, well, senior leagues have been here for a long time, so Does everyone understand what the senior lead program is? Okay. If you don't, we can talk to the person afterwards. But our senior leads have been very, very stable. And they usually are in most divisions. It's an upgraded position, they're getting more money, and they get more responsibility, and most times they stay for a long time, which is the same thing, which is what happened in football. Officers, there's really not any bigger turnover here than any other division. Some people get sent to a division when they're off probation. Everyone does 18 months of probation, six months in the academy, and a year in the field. After that, they get sent to division. They may or may not live close to that division. So, but there's not a lot of turnover, not any more turnover at Foothill than anywhere else. My belief.
Okay, and related to that, maybe response time. We have a question regarding response time.
Yeah.
And if you can explain how that's determined, response time, and if there's prioritization within
Yeah.
that system.
Yeah, we have emergency calls, we have non-emergency calls. Okay, easy enough? If there's a violent crime in progress, that's considered an emergency call. So someone calls 911, says, hey, this guy's shooting at somebody outside, that's an emergency call. And our goal as a department is a 7-minute response time for emergency calls. And we're able to meet that or beat that in almost every division every week. So our goal is for the emergency calls, 7 minutes. And then the non-emergency calls, we get there as soon as we can, but obviously the emergency calls take precedent. And we're actually in pretty good shape at Foothill. We're close to 7 minutes almost every week. Now, sometimes things happen. If there's a big incident happening over, let's say, up in Tahonga, and that takes a lot of officers up there. We're a big division, so there might be another emergency calls that happens in Pacoima, and if everyone's up in Tahonga trying to deal with that big incident, it takes them a while to get there. So that's why we have a challenge sometimes in Foothill. We have 46 square miles. It's a very big division. I think it's the 3rd biggest division in the city. That's just to say, sometimes we have to drive faster. We got to get there safe too. I don't want anyone, and I don't think you guys want anyone to get hurt trying to respond to something. We have a historic story from 1988 where officers were trying to get to a backup call for a stolen vehicle, and 4 officers are going in 2 different vehicles, and one of them goes the wrong way on a one-way street because he got to get there quick because he's responding to a backup call, and they hit each other, and we have 3 dead officers out of the 4. So that's just a story of old that we remind people. You can't be like those officers at Fifth and Wall. You got to get there in order to help them. So
And a follow-up
we
question.
balance it. We balance it.
If a situation like that's going on where folks are deployed elsewhere, do they talk to the watch commander to get accurate information? So if someone calls back an hour, okay, someone hasn't been here. Who do they call at that point?
They can call the front desk and ask for the watch
Ask
commander,
the front
and then they
desk.
can get that information.
Non-emergency number?
Yeah, and you're referring basically to the non-emergency calls.
Okay.
The emergency calls, it's not going to take an hour.
Mhm.
When you call 911, if they determine it's non-emergency call, they're actually going to transfer you, and things will slow down. And you're thinking, what's going on? Why are they waiting? And here's an example. Let's say someone burglarizes your house, your business. They broke into the business. They took something. That's a burglary. Suspect's gone. You might think, and in my mind, man, if that happened in my house, I want the officers there now.
Take the fingerprints.
Exactly. But you know what? The fingerprints aren't going away, and the DNA's not going away. And the sad thing is, that's not considered an emergency call anymore because the suspect's gone. So that might take an hour or 2 hours. Or longer. I've actually been to calls, and it's embarrassing for the officer too. If it's so busy, let's say it's a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, and it's super busy, and someone calls about a loud party. Let's say they call at 10 o'clock. But there's a lot of things going on, and it's just not Foothill. This is citywide. And it takes us 4 hours to get there. We get there at 2 o'clock in the morning. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe the party's still going, and at least we can stop it at that point. But most of the time, by 2 o'clock, it's not going anymore. So we get there and we go, man, this is so embarrassing. It took us 4 hours because of all these higher priority emergency calls. So we're embarrassed too. But what you can do is call back and say, hey, the party's still going on. It's been an hour. Can you see what's going on? Can you give me an estimate? And the watch commander will try and give you an estimate. But as things go, things change. So call back there. Call the front desk, ask for the watch commander, and they'll deal with that.
Last year, the Lakeview Terrace Association was told that there were 150 gangs in the northeast San Fernando Valley in this area. Has the gang membership increased or declined in the last year in that area?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't surprise me that there's 150 gangs in the northeast San Fernando Valley, but Foothill is just a piece of that. And we don't have 150 gangs in Foothill.
150 gang members, maybe? Not
There's more than 150 gang members. But
Gang.
Not gangs.
the year and a half that I've been here, monitoring and supervising, managing the gang unit, there's been no one telling me that gang membership is increasing. I think it's staying even, if anything. But there's a great group, and if you guys know somebody who is at risk of becoming a gang member, someone in your family, someone in your neighborhood, someone you care for, someone in your church, this guy's at risk of becoming a gang member, I guess I feel that something's gonna happen with this kid. There's a group called El Nido. E-L, second word, Nido, N-I-D-O. And they work with our GRID, which is a gang reduction youth development group through the city and the county. And they are specifically there to help kids get out of, or not get into gangs, they're prevention. So, and that's the big thing, is to try to prevent these youngsters from getting involved in gangs. Because once they're in, it's a hard thing to get them out of that culture. And some leave, but many just are entrenched, and it's a hard thing. So, get them into El Nido as soon as possible, and they can help them counsel. And we have programs too. We have a cadet program for our older kids from 12 to 18. We have junior cadets for the younger kids. And we have a Jeopardy program, which I might rename to just Police Activity League. But between those, we have about 200 kids involved in programs every week. Not every single day, but every week. And we teach them discipline, we teach them about police work, but more importantly, we make sure they do their homework. We help them with that. We have other activities they're involved with. In our Jeopardy program, we have boxing, we have weightlifting, other physical activities, basketball. But they have to do their homework first, and the officers are there to help them. And we have tutors come in and help them if the officers can't do it. So, great programs we have to try to keep people out of gangs and give kids something to do that's good and wholesome and safe.
Do you know if black kids are participating in this program? Okay.
Yeah. Not as many as I would like. I will say most of our kids are Hispanic kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the demographic of most of the program, but it's open and available to all the kids. We want to recruit from all families and all ethnicities.
Yeah, one thing I want to do, just kind of talking about it, is I want to do 2 homework nights at the CSP program, where the kids can come like Tuesdays and Thursdays and do homework with the officers and have some of the staff there. We'll pick officers have master's degrees. Any kid from anywhere can come in and do homework with them. We'll have lunch and stuff. Some of the things I want to implement, I have a lot of things I want to implement, but we're talking about homework to that. So.
Yeah, so stay tuned with that. The CSP is going to start in February, but right now we already have the other programs available. The cadets, the junior cadets, and Jeopardy, where we're already reinforcing the homework issues.
So there is no PAL program.
No, the PAL program is our Jeopardy program,
Okay.
but I want to change it to PAL because Jeopardy's got a stigma sometimes to the term.
Stigma.
Not all those kids who are in Jeopardy are at-risk kids. Some of them choose it just because it's closer to their home. You know, they don't have to take a bus; they can walk. So,
Follow up.
San Fernando Gardens. So.
Something you said about black involvement.
Okay.
But isn't that what the council is trying to do now with leadership of churches and community teachers, churches, leadership of businesses, get them to come together like the basketball game.
the basketball bash.
Yeah, that y'all just had, so that we can learn about each other, so that more blacks would be involved, because I think our fear is that, we're gonna go in and we're gonna entrap them, somehow or another, because that's.
And we need to have more events where the communities come together as well. I mean, this is a very small event, it's a good event. And we've had the basketball bash, we had the, I couldn't go, but last week at the Martin Luther King's Day celebration, there was a pancake breakfast. Those are good events. We had an African American forum, we had a Hispanic forum, but they was ever.
And we're open to ideas.
Yeah.
It just all can't come from us, because sometimes we're not entrenched in the community as much as you are. People will welcome all your ideas and we'll try.
And here's the beauty, Seal can attest to this. They've had events at your big church, All Nations Church, and they say, can we have officers? And I will give officers. We'll bring officers there, whether it be our Crow officers or whoever, we'll bring cadets, and they'll work with you, work for you. You can even give them jobs, and we'll have them help you for your event. Especially these types of events you're talking about, community events to bring the police and the community together and just to make the community better, whether it's going to be a cleanup or just a singing day. Whatever you guys want to put together, we'll do our best to
Well, I think
provide
you have
people.
the same effect like you're doing with the gardens over there. You're getting to know me, and I'm getting to know you, so it's a relationship thing.
See them all over the place. You're doing a great job, and
Yeah.
we're expecting.
And one more thing I want to do that I did in Newton as a watch commander, and so if you see this, I want to, if the time permitting and there's availability, I want to allow my officers who are working on Sunday to attend church here locally. So if you see some officers sitting in the back, it's because they want to attend church. So what do you guys think about that?
Good.
Yeah. So, I can't, if I'm working on Sunday, obviously I can't leave and go to church or work in whatever community I'm involved in, but maybe I'll pick a church within Foothill and I'll just sit in the back and get to know everybody. So I want to implement that too.
And as you mentioned that, there are some folks in the audience who their families have been in Pacoima for generations and have churches here, and so you definitely want to meet some of the folks and talk about some of the history of blacks here in Pacoima, and they give you some good advice on churches to attend and that. So we're glad to have you. I think you had a follow-up question.
Yeah, just a question. How do you find out about the programs that you have for the kids? Where do you go to find out about them?
I'm going to give you a phone number.
Okay.
Community relations.
Our community relations office has all the information of the times. That's why I'm giving them, because all the timing and everything is through them. So.
And while you're looking for that, do you have anything online, like a Facebook page?
Yeah, there's a Foothill Facebook page. You just search for.
Okay.
Foothill
LAPD division.
Yeah. So here's the number: 818-485-0630. And you'll get one of our Crow officers, and they'll tell you, and you ask about the Crow, whatever programs you have for kids, they'll have it all. And if you also wanted to be volunteer, if there's anything you want to do with the department, we have jobs for everybody, anyone wants to volunteer. We have this cool thing called the Volunteer Community Patrols. We have these brand new BMWs. They're black and white. They say police something on the side. They're cool. They have little lights on them. So we train you. It's a short training, 4 hours training. Just kind of giving you information. We train you to use our radios, and we train you with what we want you to do. And what we do with you, as a partners, so 2 people, with the little uniforms we give you, they're pretty cool looking. You've probably seen these guys around. Do you have these uniforms?
No,
They're-
but
Okay. And then, if we're having a problem in some part of the division, let's say wherever, Lakeview Terrace, and it's a problem of burglary from vehicles on a particular area near a park or whatever, we put that vehicle, you guys drive around that neighborhood with your lights on, flipping them on and off, and you look like you're patrolling, and you are. But you're not going to catch anybody. Right? You don't have a gun, you don't have the right handcuffs. But what you do have, you have the ability to scare the bad guys away. They think you're real police. So they determine this is not the time and date to commit a crime, and they go somewhere else. And studies say they don't even actually commit a crime somewhere else. They actually go underground for the day, and say, I'm not committing a crime anywhere. If you want to be a part of that program, call the same number and talk to Officer Mundo, and she will get you involved with that training. That is a great, free, fun program. You're driving around in a quasi-police car for a few hours with a partner, with maybe someone else in this room. Any of you guys can do it. There's no age limit. You just need to be able to drive.
That might get y'all.
And we put you through some training with these cars, with these little BMWs, because they're small and they're unique, and they're electric cars, pretty cool. And then you can go out, and I'd like to see that car, or those cars going out every single day. Right now, we don't have that many volunteers, we've got about 10 people trained up to do that, community members. So that's just an option, an idea of something where you guys could volunteer if you wanted to have an impact on crime.
And a great place to start always is the Community Police Advisory Board, CPAC, where you'll probably hear about these on a monthly basis, about all these opportunities for you to get involved with the Foothill Division.
You want to bring up the summit,
The
CPAC summit?
CPAP Summit, is that February 22nd, is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's not, it's the first Saturday in February at Airtel.
Yeah, I don't actually have the
Maybe it
information.
is the 26th.
Yeah, and you have to be a member of the CPAC to go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because that's a strategy meeting that CPAP is meeting together, so that the leaders of each CPAP are meeting. But if you just wanted to come to CPAP and see what's going on,
We
again,
encourage
it's
you.
going to be on Facebook also, but I think Foothills CPAP has a Facebook page.
They do.
Is the Police Clergy Council still active?
That's something that needs to be improved. I've met some of the clergy in this room at various meetings, so in a sense, the answer is yes. But I think it needs to be better, it needs to be better organized. And I put my senior lead officers in charge of making sure we have a clergy council up on this side of the division, so some of the Hunga area, and then another one down here in Coima, Lakeview Terrace area. So just kind of keep your eyes open for that. It's gonna, and a lot of you guys are already involved in it. You'll be re-invited to those. So yes, we have it, but I don't think we do as well as we can. Good. We had one meeting last year up on the Rock with a large group of clergy. But when I went to that meeting, maybe there were 75 people in there, and there were maybe 10 clergy. So I don't call that a clergy meeting. I call it a community meeting, and that's fine. We need those, but it's not what I think the intent was.
Okay.
So we need to
Have
have.
some great folks here to help you put that together. So any mechanism for reporting phone scams, if it's just to give a phone number of where it's coming from, the scam?
Where you like to use, I've had three sets of phone scams going on. And because of things that I do, I'm aware that they're a scam. So one of them from the DWP one asked me that after they took all the information to please call the station. And I did, and the officer who answered was aware of it and said, that they were letting the officers know that this is going on. Because we have a lot of seniors in this community and they call prayer. And their instinct would be to call 911. Now, when I had the second one to start this past week, and I called, I said, well, do you even have a number of FTC, anything where we can report it? And they said they didn't have anything because it's not a police issue necessarily. But that's, you all know.
Ultimately, it can be a type of fraud or theft, so it does become a police problem. We have a division downtown that deals with most of those types of theft problems, and it's called Commercial Crimes Division. They might be the ones that would work with that. But maybe we need to do more of that as just in our community meetings to teach people about phone scams.
Because they're starting to get, I've had the Social Security one to call me, what's today, Saturday? About 10 times already this week alone.
This is a police phone? They call me on a police phone.
Yeah.
So here's one thing you can do. I punched it in, online reporting, in the Los Angeles Police Department. You can do harassing phone call report. And it's right here. You can do it online. You can do it from your phone. And you get a report number. The other thing you can do is you can call the station. You can have them do a harassing phone call report. It's a very simple report. You can even do it online yourself. And they'll ask you to give them the phone number, and then they can do follow-up with that. But I suggest that when you do get those calls, block them. Block them, and then go online, and you can do the online reporting yourself.
When I got 3 in one day, 3 in
Yeah,
hours.
I get it. And some of the ones I get are in Spanish, and some of the ones I get in Chinese, and some of them.
So you can do.
Still a private number as well, so you know
Yeah.
the number.
Yeah, I block all private numbers. You just can't call me. And on private and the other one is no ID, no caller ID. So you can do your own report online if you go to LAPD.com. You can do them for harassing phone calls, lost property, vandalism, theft from vehicle, hit and run, and illegal dumping. And you can do your own report. You got drop-down menus. You can do them in English and
Very
Spanish.
easy to do. I've done it.
You've done it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Or
easy.
you could also call 1-800-ASK-LAPD. But they're really easy, and we prefer you to do that because it goes straight. What it'll do is it gets routed correctly to the right department within ours, just like the Captain said, commercial crimes or whatever it may be.
We got 2 more questions.
The bottom line is this on that, real quick. Never, ever, ever respond to an email that you'll recognize the person sending it to you. If you've requested an email, if you call Farmers Insurance and you say, I need information about Farmers Insurance, my email address is, you can respond to that, you asked for it. Otherwise, every single one of these emails, and you get these things saying, your package is waiting.
Yeah.
Click here and put in your password.
That's the latest one.
Yep.
That is the latest one. I got that one.
Don't respond to any of those emails. Don't click on anything you don't know for sure. And if it's a phone number, don't even answer. And never, ever, ever.
Don't click on when they say, click on to be removed, because that doesn't do it. And the other one is when they call you and say, they'll say like, this is Linda, can you hear me? Do not say yes.
Hang on.
Because
They want to hear you say yes.
They want to hear you say yes, they're recording it, and then later on. And the last one was, this is 2020. Make sure that when you write out the year, you write out 2020, not just 20. The Maine Police Department had over 500 incidents where people were adding 2 digits where the person only had put the first 2. So,
That's good.
Yeah,
I didn't know that one.
Yes, 2020 on everything. Check
Yeah.
everything. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, when you're speaking of when you make those reports online, you're speaking of the app, the My 311?
No, there's actually on the LAPD website, there is a pull-down reporting system. And you can do everything right. It was very easy. And when I looked at the stats to make sure it was recorded, it was there in the LAPD stats. So it's a great way for those things like my case, if someone stole something from my yard.
Yeah.
Police are not going to come out for that. Did it right online, and there it popped up. So, yeah, absolutely.
And that makes it so easy to get a report done, report number. Sometimes it's for your insurance company. Sometimes it's just to report it so we know, so we can patrol more of that neighborhood. Historically, a lot of people said it's too much trouble to go to the station. I'm not going to do a report. Let's ignore it, and we don't know, so we won't investigate. So,
Zidar is going to have our last question, but before we do, if you could just, you've been here the longest, just kind of give us your general sense of what you feel the relationship is now between the African American community and the Foothill Division. Are things, working? Are there things that can be improved on both sides to improve our relationship with law enforcement in general?
I think it's pretty good, but I think it could be better. Right? Is that fair? Yeah. I mean, I've met a lot of you guys, sir, and Eli, and so we know each other, but I don't know how much we're really working together. But we meet each other in situations like this, and we have an opportunity to ask questions and talk to each other. So I think it could be better, and that's my goal, is that we have more opportunities to interact. And Seal, there's a fly flying around. Where's the laser? Excuse me. So yeah, I think it could be better, and I hope it will be better as we keep trying.
Great. And one thing on that, I'm a member of the CPAC in Van Nuys, and
Oh.
I know that's how we're building that relationship, by having, monthly opportunity to be face to face with the captains and have that dialogue. And so I'm urging all of you to be a part
And I
of
think
CPAC.
this group met with Captain Kern, right?
We did.
Captain Orlando Chandler as well.
Yes.
And he's the one who put us together.
He did. I mean, which is very wonderful that they're working together because we're right next to each other.
Very good.
Pastor Zidar, yes. If you have some things or words as our final something before we end this session, and thank our wonderful captains.
Let me do this. First, thank you for being here.
It's our honor.
Thank all of you for being here. One of the things about the San Fernando Valley, unlike some of the other portions of Los Angeles, is that over the years, you asked a question, Mike, about the relationship between African American communities and the police department. It has been a strong relationship. As you said, it always gets better, but it's always been a strong relationship. You mentioned church. I think 3, maybe 4 years ago, under Deputy Chief Green, we had a church service with LAPD where they read the scriptures, they gave the prayers, they gave their own testimonies in a way for people to see that police officers have faith as well as everybody else. We are happy that you people are here today I almost said you, I did say you people.
I didn't say that. That was enough.
Don't do like you did, Rob.
What do you mean by that?
But it's good that you're here. And I said something to Seal earlier. One thing my father used to say is, everybody that's supposed to be here is here. By divine grace, we hear things that we are able to disseminate to other people.
Turn it off.
Our relationship between LAPD and the community only grows stronger when we who know better start telling people the true reality of LAPD. Reality that these men and women are part of our community. You said family, meaning the blue family, but we're all part of the blue family. We're all part of the family, the people that work to make this community safe, that look at the quality of life issues. If we don't tell them something's wrong, they don't know. Many times, and I've been in a number of meetings where people rake LAPD across the coals, so to speak. But if they don't know what's going on the street, if they don't know what's going on in a neighborhood, it's very difficult for them to address that issue. And they don't mind us calling, even if we call multiple times. So, again, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your candor. I felt like I was talking to a friend. So, thank you very much. You were you were 77?
I was.
My nephew is at 77. I want to ask one other thing of you, and you mentioned in terms of, again, we talk about relationships. We need to know, in relationship to, maybe you can give us a point person within an department, or within Foothill rather, that if we have a situation, my good friend Bob Wynn is here, and our relationship back over time, back when Albanese was there, Crawford was here, we were able to call in and get information on circumstances of incidents that occurred. And I know that's a touchy, fine line between what you can tell and what you have to keep to yourself. So, but if you could give us, or maybe one or two of us, that point person that we could talk to, then that way the rest of us who really need to know something, or when we need to quell situations with the community, we know who to call.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing.
Okay, I'll give you the name. His name is David Grimes. And here's his phone number.
Wait.
Okay. Two people.
I opened the door.
213 840 8237. No, that's my number. That's this. It rings 24 hours a day, 365 a year. If I'm on vacation, I won't answer it. But most of them I'm on vacation. And then I'll give it to him. I will answer it and I'll give it to him if I'm not available. But you can ask whatever question you need to about community events or good things or bad things that are happening in the community, shooting, this, that, the other. And I'd be happy to try to give whatever I can give. Like you said, there's some things I can give specifics on, some things I probably shouldn't, because it's still under investigation. But I'll do the best I can to give you what you need to know, everything I can do. Don't use that number at 2 in the morning if your son-in-law is getting arrested for DUI. He needs to deal with that himself.
Pray for him.
Do not get drunk with wine, but we feel okay. Sorry. All right, but you can call me. So I'd be the person to contact.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we want to thank our captains once again for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. And And we have a couple more speakers and a song and so forth, so I'm going to turn it over to whoever is in charge of the program to call up our next folks.
Can we move?
Yes, you can certainly. And I have Captain Hurtado's business card. I'm going to put them out front at the front desk table.
Oh,
We'd just like to say on behalf
I got
of
Pastor Rudy Trujillo. He wanted to know that there's a role coming out at the San Fernando Gardens that's coming, community engagement, and also if you could send someone to the Old Men Building on Van Nuys as they have people breaking in sources tell us. That's Pastor Rudy Trujillo at Faith Center Church.
We're so thankful for the community as well.
Send someone anywhere?
And for the community to be involved. I just
Ask
want
him
to
if they
encourage
can
the
send
community
someone
to
to the
continue to be
Old Men
involved.
Building.
But this
The Old Men
event,
Building
I hope that we can just do more of that.
near Pacoima City Hall.
And if you, we didn't say this, but let's just make it clear. If you're having an event,
Yeah,
you
the
want,
Old Men, Rudy
me,
Trujillo, who is
or Captain Hurtado, or both of us,
San Fernando.
give us plenty of time in advance so we can make sure we can be there. And if we can't be there, we'll send representatives. But if you want police there or the captain's there, let us know. We'll do everything we can to make sure we're there.
And I just would also like to say, we do have the president of the Foothill Trails Neighborhood Council here. Davis.
That's our senior.
Have one of those faces.
I also have some business cards here that I can just hand about it. Take one to pass it on. If you're so inclined to.
I'm going to parallel.
Yeah, my email address is on there, and you have my phone number. You guys have it?
How important you have community involvement. I actually work right now for the pension division of police and fire, so I get to deal with all kinds of people. I have former officers who are the nicest people in the world, and I have people who I wonder how they ever got to enough to get retired. So, but as someone who's worked in the community a long time, I realized building those relationships are important. In fact, when I was stationed as a lifeguard lieutenant at Humphrey Pool, one of the things I originally did was I reached out to the local elementary schools and I started building those relationships. So when I left, a few years later, suddenly they had huge lifeguard programs and huge other things because these kids who felt they couldn't get involved suddenly had an inroad into a good job, good pay, and actually good benefits. But as someone who's had meetings in this room on a regular basis, they are unfortunately a lot smaller than I'd like them to be. All right? And I always say that decisions are made by those who come to the table. And as was paralleled earlier, we can't deal with issues or problems or concerns if we're not aware of what's going on. Usually I get the people who show up at the last minute and say, they're building a development in my backyard, can you stop it? And I go, well, if you'd come to me a year or two earlier, we might have been able to do something. So having the community involved, building those relationships is important because, if people are comfortable with law enforcement and vice versa, it's that kind of relationship that actually builds better communities. So we meet here the third Thursday every month, 7 o'clock. I will personally put out a chair for if you want to show up. Call me, email me, and we'll make it happen. But only by having the community involved. And it's a slow process. It's a slow building process. And I get a lot
I
of
had
people
told him
come and say,
Pastor
"Oh, I'm
Rudy
frustrated because,
Trujillo,
government
pastor of
does
Faith
this
Center
to me,
Church.
and I can't
Yeah,
do that." It's a
Pastor Rudy.
slow, very
Yeah, he
pedestrian
said
process.
hold on, wait a minute,
But
go back
you
to
guys
this first
come.
one, yep. That there was a
I always
rollout for
say,
San Fernando Gardens in February coming,
council
community
people and
engagement,
assembly people
and
are
also
like
ask them if you
firefighters.
could send someone
They
to
go
Old
to
Men
wherever
Building
the
on
smoke
Van
is.
Nuys, as they have
More
people
people
breaking
in the
in,
room,
per all
more
sources
smoke
tell
we
us,
can
the
generate,
Old Men
better
Building
we're
near
gonna
Pacoima
get
City Hall.
results. So please, come
Old Man, yeah,
The Old
we know
Men
about that,
Building.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me just say this to
But yes, we
Actually broke into pried his way into that one.
Thank you so much.
Somehow snuck between the board and
Improvement
he
Association.
just pried in, really. It's like a small area.
and I got folks from South Carolina that's watching this also too. One of my relatives. Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna have her say a few words.
It's an amazing
Then
thing.
Tyrone's gonna
Yes.
sing the Black National
Thanks for coming.
Anthem, and then Roy's gonna do the closing.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
Just to let you know quickly, so
I am with the 2020 census, and we are hiring, we've got a few thousand jobs that we have. They're $25 an hour. You go online to apply for them, and then the nice thing is you'll work in your neighborhood, so it's based on your zip code. So you're gonna work, around your zip code within a few miles. You're not gonna have to go to Woodland Hills or wherever else it is. It's 25 an hour. You can work part-time, full-time. Part-time would be 20 hours minimum, full-time 40 hours. You just need to be 18 or older, have a phone number and an email, so if you have any family or friends that are also looking for jobs, they're great jobs, there's nothing scammy about it or anything like that. You're working for the U.S. government, and if you're an enumerator, which is a census taker, what it is once we send out the questionnaires, if the resident still hasn't answered it, we call them a few times, which are the clerk positions. We send out emails, and then we go to those particular addresses and do the questionnaire in person. It's a simple application. You go, I have the paperwork, so you can see where what the website is. It'll take about 2 to 6 weeks to process. We're ramping up. March 24th is the start of the ramp up, so it's nothing that's going to happen immediately. The only caveat that I need to tell you is that, so you go online, fill out the whole application, and then at some point you'll get an email saying, okay, woohoo, you did this part, you're going to be on the next. Once you get that email saying that everything's good, that's when we'll be calling. It'll be a 661 number, and you have to pick up. We don't leave a voicemail, we just go to the next person. So, I know most of us don't want to answer an unknown call. It won't say U.S. Census, but it will have a 661 area code. And if you have any friends throughout the U.S., family or friends, we had to hire almost 1 million people in the U.S. alone for these jobs. So we just hired 900 people for this March 24th one over the last 3 days. We've got like a 2,000 hiring spree that we're doing in about 3 weeks. So please help out, get a job, get paid $25 an hour.
Great. Any questions? Anybody? Yes. Web address.
I have all of that stuff back there, so you can just take information because it has phone numbers and everything for that.
Great.
Thank you.
Moving on. Okay. Tyrone, are you going to introduce him?
No, hold on. There. You be my camera guy. Okay. All right. My name is Tyrone. All praises to my Lord Jesus. All praises to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, and like to thank you, gentlemen, for being out here today, and going to bring this song to you right now. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Just really quick before everyone leaves,
Sure.
forgive my tardiness.
And the
I had
calendar.
to turn
The
home
calendar.
this
Tell
morning. But I'm Gwendolyn Posey, also part of the African American Collective. And just so you all know, we meet every second Tuesday of the month at the Alicia Barada Senior Center. and you are all welcome to come at 6 p.m. and bring your community issues, concerns, and I love what he said about the smoke, but what if we could prevent the smoke and get some things in place so we don't have to go through that smokiness, those fires. So that's what we're about. And if you want to be a part of that, you are welcome to come. Thank you.
And there's our calendar.
And here is, and we have created a quarterly calendar. And you are welcome. Do we have any? Did we pass it?
Yes, there's some on the back table.
Okay, so there's some on the back table. It tells you community events, everything going on, and a little bit about us. And it'll be coming out quarterly.
And we can put your events in
And
there.
if you have some announcements or you want to purchase some ad space, you can do that also.
Very good. God bless you too. Good seeing you too. Good seeing you too.
Yeah, one of our programs.
Oh yes, of course, of course.
Thanks.
Oh yes, this is Brother Tyrone. What you had just watched just now is the meet and greet with the captains. We have Officer Hurtado and Officer Grimes that was here today. Taking questions and answering questions. In the community. Now this live cast that you have watched right now it's also going to be on my YouTube page, and you can go back. You can watch it at any time in its entirety, and this is all will be put together on a DVD. Now this sister, she had just spoke just a few minutes ago, but I do have to get her. You have to get her again. I have to get her again. This is Sister Amy that works with the census, that is working with the Census Bureau, and I wanted you all to remember this phrase, that this is all not a scam or anything. Just to let you know, because she gave me some information. I got folks that is watching right now. Can you please tell them the information that you have said to everyone once again, please, Amy, please.
So the biggest information is that it's $25 an hour. You can work part-time, full-time, weekends, evenings. You go to 2020census.gov/jobs. It should go through the end of the summer, and we need so many people. So family, friends, anybody who's looking for part-time or full-time, please send them to 2020census.gov/jobs.
And I think, and Amy, and a pastor on here. His name is Rudy Trujillo. He's the pastor of the Faith Center Church over in San Fernando. Can I get some information from you that I can take back? Because he even said on here, says, Tyrone, get the info from her, please, so I can take it back to him.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Rudy, she preparing the information for you. I'm gonna have it for you tomorrow. I'm gonna bring it to you first thing in the morning. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Sister Amy. Thank you so much. And you know what? This also has been a very, very informative meeting today. And this is awesome. And I do mean awesome. And I can tell. Wait a minute. I got to get one more. I got to put one more in. Excuse me, Gwen. Rudy said, did Gwen say a straight, but we don't smoke no more, he said. But perhaps past that with Pastor Rudy just now.
I love him.
Yeah, Rudy, Gwen says she loves you too, okay? And we are live. I got a cousin from South Carolina that's watching this as well, all the way from Mount Pleasant. Her name is Cousin Gail. She's watching.
Hi, Cousin Gail. Thank you for watching.
Yes, Gail. This is Sister Gwen over here.
I'm Cousin Gwen.
I mean, yes, we're trying to make her the first female president of the United States. Okay, Gail.
We're working on that. Make sure you vote for me, though.
And this has been a very Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it says it's Captain, sir. Okay, Rudy told me something. I don't know. It says, thanks, Tom, for letting us in. For my song, Sister Monique. Gail says outstanding $25 for the census job. Yes, Gail. Yes, Gail. If you want to work for the census, all the information is going to be on my Facebook page. You can look on there. It is not a scam. The Sister Amy just spoke just a few minutes ago. It is not a scam. It is all the real deal. They got full-time and part-time positions available. And Brother Rudy, me. I got your census information right here. I definitely will be bringing it to you. And like Gwen says, every second Tuesday of each month, we always have the Valley Collective meeting over at the Alicia Broder Center in Pacoima.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. Do come with any ideas that you may have. Don't keep them bottled up in a cork or anything. Uncork that thing and let us know what's happening.
That's right. Let it out. The only way it gets solved.
That's right. This has been a very, very informative meeting today. Meeting and greeting with the meeting and greeting. Well, wait a minute, Gail. Oh, wait a minute, Gwen. Wait a minute, Gail says, hello, cousin Gwen.
Hi, Gail.
Gail, this is Gwen. She's also a strong very pillar in the community. She had introduced me to a lot of folks in office, and this is a one to watch right here, cousin Gwen over here, Gail. Okay.
Thank you for watching again, Gail.
Okay, that's because all the way from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, in the Hamlet community.
Awesome.
And will there be another if you all missed this one this time, I'm sure that there will be another meet and greet, and I will have the date for you for that one. But all of what you have seen today, you can go and watch it on my Facebook page, and you can also go to my YouTube page, and you can also watch it all in its entirety. And I'm also going to be producing it, putting it all together on a DVD, and I will be giving out copies, to everyone, to anybody that would like a copy, just something for you, that you can put into your collection as well, where you can go back and you can watch it anytime. And let me tell you something. Between the police department and the public, which is us, it all takes community involvement, and it takes you and you alone, because nothing cannot get done if you have the tape over your mouth and just being silent, and nobody doesn't know, and nobody knows what is going on, what is happening. And like I said, be a voice in the community. And I'm gonna put the information on my, it's gonna be on my Facebook page as well, also too. But I thank each and every one of you that's watching. Thank you so much, Pastor Rudy. Rudy said he loves you, Gwen.
Love you back,
Annette and I both, and oh yeah, everyone. Like I said, everyone's all just watching. But I thank you all. I thank you all so much for watching today, and also hearing my song as well. That was the edit version right there, because Lift Every Voice and Sing, that's a long song, but because of the time, keeping it, I had to bring to you the edit version right there. But this has been very informative, and also, like I said, the Valley Collective meet, the think tank meeting, every second Tuesday of each month at the Broder Center at 6 p.m. And we also do have a newsletter. If you want to buy some space, please send an email as well also too. That's actually on my page, because I do have the newsletter on my page. Or if you have any events that's coming up, please let us know. Thanks to our moderator over here. This is Brother Michael over here, another strong pillar of the community. This is Brother Michael over here, the moderator of this as well also too. Thank you so much, Brother Mike, for all that you do. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. This is Brother Tyrone coming to you live from the Lakeview Terrace Community Center here in Lakeview Terrace, where the meet and greet meeting has just now wrapped up. If no one hasn't told you that they don't love you today, remember that I do, and so does the Lord. And also, may you live as long as you want, but never want as long as you live. May you live to be 100 and me 100, but minus a day, so I will never know that nice people like you have passed away. Also, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it, but please do me another favor. Be nice to somebody, will ya? I'm pretty sure you can. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Sister Monique. Thank you so much. And all of you out there, please be safe out there. Enjoy the weekend and have a day.
I took videos.